All right, today I want to talk just really briefly about mutes for your instrument. I know some of you already purchased some of these mutes, and maybe some of you are interested in it. So I wanted to kind of demonstrate and show you what I'm talking about. They do have these kind of mutes for all of the different instruments, but they're going to look a little bit different for each of the sizes. So bear that in mind. I'm going to be showing the violin specific one. So this mute here looks a little goofy. This is what's called a practice mute, okay? I highly recommend practice mutes anytime if you are ever in a situation where you're practicing and other people are in the home, and maybe you've got smaller siblings or other children in your house that maybe you can't always be playing very loudly when you want to be playing loud. Or maybe parents just need a break and you still want to play. This is really the solution. You can buy these on Amazon. Just search your specific instrument and then practice mute, M-U-T-E, practice mute. And I think for the violin mute, it's roughly $5 or so. You can also get these from Fishburne and Lyle. But if you don't want to be leaving your house or being in any contact with people, you can just order them on Amazon. So the practice mute, what's great about the practice mute is that it will truly mute the sound of your instrument and make it significantly quieter. So how you do it is it has a little bit of a shape that matches the shape of the bridge. And so, oh, there we go. So I'm just lining up the curve of the practice mute on top of my bridge. I'm gonna try and get that a little closer so you can see. And I'm just gently gonna push it on the top of my bridge until I feel like it kind of sticks and gets a little snug. You don't have to push it all the way down. And in fact, mine doesn't go all the way down. It's a little hard to see, but you can kind of see the top of the bridge, and then there's a little bit of a space, and then the practice mute. So there's a little room that it could go further, but I don't want to push it down too hard because then it might damage the bridge if I really shove it on there. And this would be the same for the viola mutes, the cello mutes, the bass mutes. They would all be very similar to this style. And the bass mute, please, it's gonna be huge, really, really big, because this is already pretty big. It needs to go a little bit wider than your bridge. So basses, imagine how big your bridge is. It's gonna be really big. So brace yourself if you do order that. It's gonna be pretty large. So don't be super shocked and overwhelmed when it comes in the mail. So this is really simple to put on, and I'm gonna kind of show you a little close up. There's a little wedge, little space in between, kind of like a comb, and that's exactly where it's going. So there's a little bit of a space. And when you put it on, you just play some stuff, some open strings. That's as loud as it goes. Now if I take it off and do the same thing, it's much, much, much louder. So I actually use my practice mute very frequently because I have a small child, and typically the only time I have to practice is when he's in bed and I don't want to wake him up from practicing. And I can have this mute on and be practicing in the room right next door, playing as loud as I possibly can, and he doesn't wake up. So it does mute the sound pretty significantly, but it doesn't make it so soft that you can't hear what you're playing. You'll still be able to tell if your notes are in tune. You'll still be able to play just fine, but it makes it so much more pleasant for the rest of your household if you have to practice a lot, or you practice really loud, or whatever the situation is, and they maybe don't want to hear it. So practice mute. Now here's one little thing to watch out for. There's another kind of mute out there, significantly smaller. It's got a little hook on the back. This is what's called a concert mute or a performance mute. There's a huge difference in the sound. This is not really designated or designed for muting the sound so much as the practice mute does. This is actually going to give your instrument a different sound entirely. And they use these for specific pieces, especially more advanced pieces of music. And the composer, whoever wrote the music, wants a certain sound for the style of music. That's when these little guys come into play. So this is not what you're looking for. For the violin ones, they're like $1 or so, so they're pretty inexpensive. If it's circular, for any instrument, if it's circular, it's not the correct kind of mute. Okay, so be careful of that. You don't want the circle mute. You want the big fat one with the little forks or comb-like look, okay? But I promise you, if you use this, especially parents who are watching this, this might be a great little investment for you and your family to keep some sanity around your house when your kids are practicing. All right, hope that helps.